What is MERS? At Advocate Legal, we get asked this question all the time. What is MERS? MERS is Mortgage Electronic Registration Systems, Inc. MERS is a shell company that appears as a beneficiary on over 100 million mortgages and has less than 100 employees. MERS is a scheme by the big banks to take power and authority from the true beneficiary of your mortgage by claiming beneficiary rights they don't have. MERS is a fraudulent business model. MERS is a cloud upon title of every mortgage where it appears as a beneficiary. MERS is also a computer database where the big banks track their servicing rights. And MERS is a key element in our country's transition from a stable lending environment to a foreclosure-based economy. It's complicated, right? And the answers only bring up more questions. How do they use MERS to save money and take power from the beneficiary? What are servicing rights? Why have we become a foreclosure economy, and what does that mean? Most importantly, how does this affect us? That's what we all want to know, right? Because this is complicated, we're going to take it in parts. Part 1, we'll explain the corporate structure of MERS, how it came to be, who owns it, how it works. Then how MERS relates to securitization and foreclosure. Then how the big banks transform themselves from lenders to servicers and what is meant by servicing rights and securitization. Then we'll explain how MERS allows the big banks to increase profit and defraud both the borrower and the beneficiary of your loan. Then we'll explain how MERS clouds title, how the existence of MERS has destabilized our county land records, and then we'll explain how MERS and the foreclosure economy plays out in our own lives and what we should be prepared for. So first, what is MERS? Who owns it? How does it work? The corporate structure of MERS starts with a holding company called MERS Corp Holding, Inc., which is the parent company of the MERS Shell Corporation that appears on your mortgages and deeds of trust. The most important members of the board of directors of MERS Corp are the big four banks, which are Citi Mortgage, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, and Chase. These are the big four banks that you will hear us refer to. MERS is a shell company because it is named as something which it actually is not. This means it is named as a beneficiary when it is not a beneficiary because it doesn't lend any money. It is named as a nominee when there is no nominee contract between MERS and any of its members. The concept of MERS as either of these things is therefore a legal fiction. MERS is actually more like a secret club with powerful members running a scheme on an unsuspecting public. The MERS scheme also includes the MERS computer, which is a database that MERS members use to track their servicing rights, and the MERS members that need to track servicing rights are mostly the servicers. The biggest of the mortgage servicers are the big four banks that used to be lenders but are now servicers, which is our topic in part 2. The MERS scheme, also referred to as the MERS shell game. This allows MERS members to become corporate officers of MERS and use this fake MERS beneficiary status as a tool whenever they need to record documents related to foreclosure. MERS members do this by downloading corporate documents off the MERS website that allow them to become corporate officers of MERS. This is how Bank of America employee Linda Green in 5 minutes can make herself an executive vice president of MERS and create substitution of trustee and assignment of the deed of trust that are then recorded in the county records. The fact that these important rights are being transferred by employees of your servicer without accountability or oversight has led to a lot of robo-signing and fraudulent recorded documents. The MERS scheme, along with deregulation of mortgage lending and the repeal of Glass-Steagall, is responsible for the big bank bailout of 2008 and the depressed economy we are now experiencing. But let's start with a history lesson, which will be video 2.